Hi, this is Gina with Paint Palette, going to take you through one of the projects from our Anyone art box. So thank you for joining us. You're welcome to grab wine or snacks, or if you're a little kiddo, you can grab your juice boxes and we'll go ahead and get started. So what I have from the kit is my wood canvas. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one for this project, this painting. You have another option where you could use the canvas. I'm going to use this. I think the colors will look pretty on it. I'm using my easel. I'm going to go ahead and set it on there. I've got my paintbrush and my paints in my palette. I went ahead and got some water in a cup. You can use a paper cup or whatever you have around, and a paper towel is the other thing that you'll need. So this is a water-based acrylic paint. So you want to keep it nice and your brush nice and damp, not dripping the whole entire time. And so I'm going to dip it in the water, dab it on my paper towel the whole time through. And we're going to be painting Monet's Beach Sunset. So know here that you can make this your own. You can use the same exact colors and follow along exactly with me, or you can deviate and use different colors in the sky. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and make the sun just a little bit of a half circle right at the skyline, where the skyline meets with the shore. That's a fun way to change this up, but this is your painting at home. I hope you really enjoy doing it and getting creative. There are no mistakes in art. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a yellow color. So I'm dipping my brush in there, but what I'm going to do, you use yellow there at home, but I want you to be able to see it on the canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and mix mine with a little bit of a darker color just so you can see what I'm doing, and it shows up on the canvas. But so what I'm going to do here is go ahead and make a line, and I'm going to hold that up. So about a third of the way down, I'm going to make a line across. I'm going to take my paintbrush and go about a third of the way down, and my paintbrush is going to be on its side so that it's thinner, not like this, but like that. And about a third of the way down, and just make a little line there, and I'll show you what I mean. But again, you're using just yellow right now. I'm doing the line so that you can see it on the camera. And that's about what I did. So this is going to be where the shoreline is, and then you know, where the sky meets the land. So if you want to make more sky, you can. If you want to make more land, you can. So you can adjust. And also, very rarely do you put down one, you know, paint mark when you're painting. Oftentimes artists will work on the same thing for months at a time, the same little thing. So feel free to change up your line if you want to make it straighter or curvier or whatever you want to do. So feel free to do that. So what I'm going to do above this line is go ahead and take more paint, more yellow, and paint everything above that line yellow. This is such a fun material to paint on. I love it. So fun. So you're welcome to, you know, go ahead and paint the edges. They're smaller edges. And I'm just going to paint that entire part of that wood piece above the line. These are a little bit different than what we do. We usually do 11 by 14s or 16 by 20 inch canvases. These you get to be a little bit more detailed. And also throughout this whole process, you're welcome to pause the video, start it back up again, do whatever you need to make this experience fun and make sure you get all the instruction. So cheers with either juice boxes or wine glasses. Okay. And I've been having my 6-year-old daughter help me with a lot of these, and she's not here. Miss her. Okay, so right now I have yellow painted above that line. And again, that is a brown line just so you can see it. I didn't want it to get lost when I was doing that, but you should have just a yellow line, okay? And then what I'm gonna do immediately is while I'm up here is start adding color. This is where it can get fun. So you can add reds and oranges, which is yellow and red together, whites, pinks, which is red and white together. So there's a lot of different colors you can add up here. You can follow along with me. What I'm doing is I'm just taking some yellow and red and mixing it together on my palette just over here. I poured one of each color with the exception of green, because yellow and blue makes green, but if you want to add the green in there, you can. And then what I'm doing is taking my brush on its flat edge, right? I'm not making it to where it would make a really wide line. I'm making it flat. So you could do either way, but that's what I'm starting with. And I'm just gonna go through and make little lines back and forth all across here, all across the top, making my sunset. So those lines are going throughout that whole entire top part. So if you add these lines and you're thinking, oh, I added too much, you can always go back with yellow and go over it, or if you didn't add enough, keep adding. I'm also gonna now take some red and go through and make some streaks of red. And I'm overlapping the streaks. They're left to right. And they're just little, basically dashes that overlap. I'm gonna go back in there with some yellow and streak some more yellow in there. You can see what that looks like. I'll hold it up a little bit closer. Okay. And then I'm gonna just keep going with that. And so I'm making this look really chunky. You have options. I know some people, some clients and students like to go through and really blend it so that it's a nice, you know, pink or, you know, orange, or some people like to do it lighter. So you have colors, you'll mix the orange with some white so that it looks more peach, you know. So you have some options. You could do it choppy like this. You could do it really smooth if you want to start blending that. I'm going to keep it really choppy. I'm going to now add a little bit of white in there as well. Okay. And for me, I'm going to go over that brown line just because it was there. Because I had that there. Okay, so you're gonna have your sunset. You can bring those lines all the way over to the edges. And again, you can paint those edges. These are really cool. It's really fun, this panel, this squid panel. So if I was doing a class in person, I would now tell you to tell somebody next to you how amazing their painting looks. So you can pat yourself on the back. It's supposed to be fun. This is all about having a good time. There are, like I said, there are no mistakes. So, you know, a lot of times the things that we do on the painting that we like least turn into our favorite parts even. So as you're going, if it's not quite what you're wanting yet, keep working it out. We have time right now. So we're at home. We tend to be home right now. So have fun with it. Okay, so we've got that. And again, pause as many times as you need to, but what I'm going to keep going. What we're going to do now is make the water. So again, this right here, we're going to start at the corner and make kind of a rounded triangle all the way to the other side. I'm going to leave about a ½ inch on this little wood panel from the bottom for the shoreline, and then put the water all in between. But you can do what you want, again, adjust to your liking. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some of my blue paint, mix it with my yellow. Yellow and blue makes green, or if you have the green, you can just use the green. And then I'm going to add some white to that to make kind of more of a turquoisey color. And every time I do this, it looks a little bit different. So I'm getting a little bit of a different color of green, which is fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take my brush again on its side. So that's the skinny line, just to begin with. Again, you can do it any way you want. I'm going to leave about a ½ inch. I'm going to start at the corner here, up here, and then make a line down here and leave about a ½ inch. So here I go. Just going to look at it here, pay attention, bring it down. Okay, so I did a little bit of a little bit duller blue. Can make it a little lighter by mixing more white in it. Doing more close to a turquoise. So there are whole classes on color mixing, so that's also another thing that just have fun with the color mixing. Get the color, you know, keep mixing it until it's a color you like. And then you can always even go over a color that you had before. So here we go. Mine's a little darker here, which I like it. This blue is kind of fun. It's kind of closer to what this other sample is. And what I'm going to do is just paint that whole entire area in the middle in that blue. So you made the line from this top corner all the way down, and I left a little ½ inch, and then that whole area in here, I'm painting blue. I'm going left to right again because that's going to help with the background of the water. So we're going to be going left to right. So this is really fun. It's turning out really fun. So I hope this is relaxing and fun. We've got some motorcycles outside. We're learning how to video and put these art boxes together on the fly. So we appreciate all your support, and we appreciate your patience with us as we get this all together to get art to you. Okay, so that's my water. That's going to be my shoreline down here, and I just painted that entire thing in. Now what I'm going to do is, it's very similar to the top. I'm going to add more color. Now if you did it smoothly at the top, you can also make your water very smooth, or you can do it really choppy. All these technical terms, right? Choppy, smooth. They're not the official art terms, but we're getting the point across. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, that's my mix of turquoise. So I'm going to come in with just regular blue. I'm taking my blue. This is a little bit of a darker blue, and I'm going to add lines just like I did at the top. Okay. And I'm overlapping them. My brush again is on its side. Or you can use a different brush if you would like. One that you have. Okay, so I just added some of those. You can still see some of the other blue in the background. And I'm also going to add some white in there. You can add some light blue, some white, and I'm doing the same kind of lines. It's just making it look like you have a shoreline there. I mean a shoreline. It's making it look like you have some texture. Some waves in there. It's giving the texture to the water. Okay. Let's see. So you've got several colors in there. So you can also take a little bit of the blue, mix it with white on your palette, and make a light blue, and go ahead and add that there too. And again, if you feel like you need to put another color in there, you feel like, oh, I put too much of this one color, just play around with it. This is a really relaxing, fun painting to do that with. So again, I'm just making short little strokes. I'm gonna rinse my brush out. You can, if your brush isn't coming clean, just push it really all the way down to the bottom of your cup and it'll come nice and clean for you. And I'm just gonna go through and add a couple more of the dark blue. I feel like it would look nice in there. Okay, so now we've got the sky and the sunset. We've added all of those colors and we've got the water. So now what we're gonna do, so painting is all about shapes, empty space, placement. So we're layering. We're going, putting the solid color, adding some layers to give it texture. So at the bottom, what we're gonna do, you can take your black and add a little bit of yellow, add a little bit of red, make it a little bit lighter. You can always add some white into it too if you'd like. But this is gonna be our shoreline. So make it as light or as dark as you want, just like the rest of the painting. And we're gonna go ahead and paint the shoreline. And you can use little, places on your palette. That's what I'm doing. You can see mine's a big, huge mess right there. Or you can get a paper plate, and if you want more space to mix, you're welcome to do that. So here I go. I'm going to take that paint, and on this particular part, you can do anything you want with the brush. I'm just going to use my brush flat where you're getting a wide stroke. So here I go. I'm going to make that all the way over. And again, this is looking so pretty on this wood piece. It's fun to get really precise and use these smaller canvases. You can really take your time on it. And I'm just filling that whole area in with that brown color. And again, if you want a tan color, you can make it lighter. Just add some white. Okay. So that's so far. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is let it dry a couple of minutes. And then we're going to go back up to the top and start doing some of these mountains. And we're going to make them really more shallow on this piece because this is smaller. So pretty. This is so fun. I hope you're enjoying. I know I don't get to interact with you right now, but I wish I could go around and find the things in your painting that I like. I hope you're not being hard on yourself, because this is all about having fun. And remember that this might be, a rare time when you've even painted. So be really easy on yourself. Know that this is a practice like anything else, and that if I was there, I'm sure that I would find some really fun things about your painting. So, that's the thing. We're hardest on ourselves, and with our friends or somebody else, we can actually be encouraging and find the good things. But with ourselves, a lot of times we're like, hardest. So don't be hard on yourself. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same color that I used for the shoreline. And now, so this is where we're at. So now I'm going to come over here and make some of these mountains. So I'm going to start really shallow. The idea about this is that we're going to leave space where the sun's going to go. So if you were to take this canvas all the way in half, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the mountains to about halfway. Then I'm going to leave a space and then put a couple of little more mountains over here so that you'll have this nice space on the right-hand side of your canvas. Okay. So I'm going to come here and just start higher at the left-hand side. Now you can make mountains that are very structured, or you can just make more fluid mountains, but it looks nice if it starts a little higher and then goes lower by the time you get to halfway, because what it shows is it's just kind of blending in, and you can, you know, I'm making all different shapes here and blending it in to where it gets really low. It's very, very low to the horizon line by the time you get there. And so if you want to, you can make larger mountains. You know, this is another part where you can just really have fun with it. I'm going all the way over. And then also, here we are with the mountains. Make sure you can see that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here and I'm going to round it out where the shoreline is connecting to the mountains. So instead of leaving a space there where the water's coming through, I just put a stroke there and rounded it out. So you're welcome to do that, or you can leave it to where it looks like the water's going off of there. So whichever you choose. And then I'm leaving this space here where the sun's going to be, and then I'm going to go over here to the right hand side and add some more mountains here. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what I did here. So it's a little bit different height than this one over here. So it's kind of in the middle of the lowest mountain over on the left side and the highest. And when I made that space for the sun, that's where the sun's going to go. And then you add the other mountains over on the other side. So next, what we're going to do is go ahead, while we're already doing the mountains in the brown, we're going to add some texture again to that. So I'm going to take a little bit of red and I'm going to add some streaks. It's kind of sun-kissed, and it just gives it texture. When you're looking out at land, you're not looking out and seeing a flat brown typically, unless it's sunset-ish. And I'm just going to go and, you know, add a little bit of red there. You can blend it in. You can make it not as dark. I might go over it with a little bit more of that brown so that it makes it a little more dull. You can see that. So the red's not as pronounced. It's going to blend it in a little bit more. Like I said, it's fun kind of seeing the different materials and how they work with paintings. I'm kind of experimenting with that. You can add lighter on there, just the same, you know, you can add the darker, you know, with a little bit of a darker black, or just blend it in. So the last part is going to be the sunset and the reflection. So you go ahead, and so the whole idea is that when you do the sunset, that it just matches the reflection. So whatever colors you kind of put in the sun, you want to kind of match it in the reflection here. So I think I'm going to do, so you could do a bright red sun. You can do, there's so many options here. This is why it's so fun too. You can do a little half sun right here. I've seen people do a huge sun as if it's just setting right behind those mountains like that, and big and red, or you can make a really bright yellow sun. Have fun with it. And then when you go into the water and when we get to the reflection, that's just going to reflect whatever colors you choose and whatever you end up using and deciding to do. So I am going to do a little red sun. So I'm going in that space in between the two mountains, and I'll show you here in a moment. But I'm just gonna do little red sun, and I'll put some other colors in it. And I'm just making it roundish. Again, take your time. You've got plenty of time to do this. You don't have to go at my pace. I'm trying to get the video out to you so you don't have to sit around for a long time and watch me, but I want to give, you know, so that you have time to stop it if you need to. I just made a little sun right there. And then I'm going to add other colors to it. So I'll do some yellows and the same lines that I used for the sea and the sky, where they're little short lines. We're going to do those same lines but make them go in a circle. And then I'm going to add a little bit more red on top. Fun. Okay. Continue to have fun with that. And then, so the reflection. I have a lot of red in my sun, so I'm going to take some red to start with, and it's going to be the widest, the reflection is going to be the widest right up by the sun, and then it's going to get more narrow as you go down. So it's not going to be exactly a triangle though. You're going to make some lines that are wider, and then they're going to get a little smaller and maybe a little wider and then come back, but overall it's going to eventually go down, but a little bit haphazardly. So here I go, I'm going to go to the right and left and just make my lines. I'll show you. So see how they're not, it's not exactly a specific triangle, but you're going left to right and making that reflection. So have fun with that too. If you did a solid background, a solid sun, you're welcome to, you know, go lighter on the reflection as well. It doesn't have to be as choppy. So then here I'm going to add, you know, little bits of yellow in there too, because there's yellow in the sky as well. Just going back and forth. Okay. Pretty. So fun. So we finished the first project for the Anyone Art Box, and here it is. Again, have, oh, gosh, add to it. Some people add trees. You can do whatever you want with this. Thanks for joining us, and looking forward to giving the next instruction for the next project and having you join us with that as well. Hope you're staying safe and having fun at home, and being able to spend time with each other. And again, we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Bye.